Hello, and welcome back to a Saturday stream. How's everybody doing? Let's see who we've got here. I'm keeping an eye on chat. We've got Dave, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hello, Dave, welcome back. And Nvidium is here. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you again. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody's had a good week. I know my week has been exhausting. Work has been non-stop this week. It's just been really crazy. I apologize for the mess, the continuous mess in the background. I'm starting to execute the plan, which is get a car, get a storage unit, get most of this stuff out of here, and then move out of this apartment into a larger one, where I can dedicate an entire bedroom to a Tech Ambrosia studio and make it nice and clean and looking good. So again, I apologize for the continued mess. It's bad and it bothers me. Anyway, good. Glad everybody's having a good time. So today, as the title thumbnail, well, I guess not the thumbnail because he's the same thumbnail every time, but as the title suggests, I want to finish off the Cheap PC Challenge PC today because I got a very special and important piece of equipment, which is the cooler mounting. So now I can actually attach this cooler to this thing instead of letting it sit on here. By the grace of gravity and luck, I can actually attach it and have it stay in place. So along with that, I also have, as I had said in the previous video, the plan is to put Windows 11 on this for shenanigans, and I have made a Windows 11 boot key, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, yeah, so that is the plan. So let's see how chat is doing. Hello, hello, hello. Walter Cardozo, hello, welcome back. Glad to see you here again. Well, that's good. Nvidia says the week's been a bit underwhelming, but yeah, it was alright. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's just, I've been putting out fires at work left and right. Like, my week has just been complete hell. I'm hoping it's going to tone down a little next week. I've got a couple of projects that are finally coming to an end, and my hope is that I'll finally be able to like shift gears and like do some actual development instead of putting out fires for other teams. We'll see. No guarantees. No guarantees. That's the bad part about being good at your job. You get to do more people's jobs. Oh gosh. Well, looks like it's going to be a small stream today, but that's okay. We'll get started. I do need to plug some things in to other things. I think the first thing, though, I think we're going to start with attaching that cooler. So let me switch y'all over. It worked! Yay! Alright, switch y'all over to the desk cam. It's looking especially crunchy today. I don't know why. Something about this. Something about this camera. It's feeling crunchy today, so I apologize for that. So I think the first thing to do is to just get this cooler off of here, which is literally just being held on with good luck. Let's get that cleaned off, and we'll get the new cooler mounting hardware attached. Hello, Clarjon OnePlus, welcome back. How's it going? You're moderating from your Linux install today. Well, hopefully nothing goes wrong. Good luck. Who else we got in here? Looks like that is it for now. Yeah, no, it's definitely, it usually doesn't get into the triple digits until like mid-August here, and it's been triple digits the last couple of weeks here, so it's definitely warm. It is too warm this year. I had this cool project where I was gonna try and like exhaust hot air out of my apartment and bring in cool air overnight, and like set it up on timers and stuff with Home Assistant. And then it started being like 85 degrees at night. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just skip that for now. Maybe we'll return to it in like, I don't know, October? There we go. Nice and clean. So this is supposedly an AM2/AM3 cooler mounting hardware. It looks like everything's in here. I had a look at it before we started. It looks like we've got a back plate with some nuts pressed into it. Obviously the cover plate that everybody knows and loves from AM2, AM3. And then it does include the screws, mercifully, so I don't have to go try and dig for screws. The strongest part of this is the label. Oh, there we go. Alright. Yeah. Oh yeah. Who remembers that? I do not miss that cooler mounting. And there's our 4 screws. Just like that. So I'm going to have to take this thing out of the test bench case to work on the back side. So let's clear a little room. Got the if you didn't follow along from last time, this is the positively effervescent GeForce GT 420. Just an absolute barnstormer of a graphics card. Ooh, there we go. The CPU is an Athlon, yeah, you can't see it, it's all washed out. It's an Athlon 2 X3 420E. There's a theme to this build. Naughty me, I only used a couple of screws for this when I mounted it last time. And then the power supply, a nice gray box jobby here, is a Thermal Master, I think TM420, something like that. 420 watt power supply. Yeah, it's fairly obvious what the theme is. But today, hopefully, if I can get it to install, you'll learn why I'm using Windows 11, what shenanigans I'm going to be up to, because they are also theme related. Should be a good time. Oh, I did that one. I think I've got some spare screws at this point, so I should be able to plug this in with more than 2. Maybe. I may have used all the spare screws for the PowerMac 7200 that's now in my corner. If you didn't catch last week's stream, I tested out my old PowerMac 7200 75, and off stream, I made up a little case for it. Since the case it's in is rapidly deteriorating, as most of the cases from that era are. This is the alpha version. It's currently installed in the beta version. I'm going to make a couple more tweaks to it and then probably release it for folks to use. Because the cool thing about those is that mostly the hardware still works. It's fairly reliable hardware. Mine I got on eBay for like 40 bucks, shipped. There's a reason it arrived mostly in pieces. But But like the hardware itself worked just fine, and it booted right up. I mean, I think I'm gonna need to download a VOD of the of booting up that hard drive for the first time. My God, it's a SCSI hard drive, a Quantum brand SCSI hard drive from 1995. Those ball bearings sounded like they needed to die. Alright, so try not to knock things over. Let's grab this. So on the back side, we're going to put the back plate, which goes this way. Yes, just snaps right in. And then on the front side, that doesn't line up as nicely as I'd like it to, but that should be fine. I know this is riveting. This is the kind of TV you come to watch. Watch me struggle to put screws into a backplate. It's great. The CPU cooler that I have for this thing is way overkill. Just absolutely way overkill. Far more cooler than it ever needs. Even just resting it on top of the CPU with no pressure whatsoever. We were seeing temperatures like I think no higher than like low 40s. Pretty ridiculous. So it's plenty of cooler. I think this is the cooler that AMD shipped with their Phenoms. I think this is the box cooler that came with the Phenoms. I'm pretty sure. It's a lot of cooler. Now let's see. Thermal paste, not flux. Thermal paste. Okay, come on. There we go. Uh-oh, is this the right cooler? Did I get the right cooler for this? I get it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Get on there. There we go. Okay. Oh, that just uses up all of the available space. That's fine. I'm sure that's fine. There we go. Boom. That's not going anywhere. Nice. Okay. Mounting screws. Do I have any extra? I don't, really. I must have used them all up on the Power Mac. Bummer. Oh, I know where the extra ones went now. That's right. The extra ones went mounting the power supply. So they weren't really extra. I could go find more screws, but it would take a rather long amount of time. So I don't actually know where any of them are. So let's do the opposite ones this time. Let's get this corner. I switched screwdrivers because this one is magnetic and the other one is not. But I can't put as much torque on this one because it's, you know, super skinny. But it does hang on to the screwdriver bits, which is nice. Screws. They're called screws. I know they're called screws. Okay. Screwdriver bits. Jeez. I am not a queen of words today. It's the reason it's been taking me so long to finish this stupid $100 GPU video is I have all the benchmarks done. In fact, they're old enough now that they're probably on non-current patches of the games I'm testing. But I've been trying to work on this stupid script. Come on, get in there. That is in there. Okay. Alright, so that should give us... Yes! Now it can be a vertical test bench. I think the cord I'm using for this, though, is in order to plug this into the capture card. Yeah, the cord I'm using won't reach that far. Put it here. Yeah, that should reach. Okay. Where did I put my... They fall off the desk? They fell off the desk. Nice, love it. Aha! That's what I'm looking for. Goes right on there. And then our video card. Rests so nicely right there. Whoa. There we go. Okay. Power. Keyboard. Keyboard is tangled up. Awesome. Okay. Power. Oh, that's right. I forgot this power supply. Gotta plug that in at some point. This power supply comes with this like extra cursed ATX 12 volt connector. That is a choice. So part of the reason that I made the power supply one of the budgetable items last year was so that y'all could experience this level of used power supply jank, because, you know, sometimes it's really entertaining. But, you know, maybe not, like, invite your audience to bring fire hazards into their homes. So it's not actually you. You don't actually have to go buy a power supply for this to participate in this year's Cheap PC Challenge. So ATX 12 volt is in. Let's see. There's the fan header. Get you in there. Okay. Motherboard, power connector. Good thing they put the arrows on it, otherwise you wouldn't know. Okay, that's in. I'm assuming that Windows 11 is going to need more than 64 gigs of space to actually work, so I've got a blanked out ADATA 240 gig SSD. These things are like $18, I think. They were when I bought this. So I think I was using this one successfully for boot. Plug in power. Got keyboard. Okay. Monitor. We've got power. This doesn't take any extra power. Keyboard's connected, mouse is connected. SATA. Oh, I need the power button. That's right. What did I do with the power button? Did I move it back to the other machine? Hang on, one sec. I did. This power button. I need more of these. I need to go just make a couple more. Okay. Power LED speaker. There's the power button. Okay. The actual power plugged in. Let's see how chat is doing. Hey, we've got some folks in here. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Alright, let's read some chat messages. How about that? Before we fire this thing up. NVIDIA says, I wanted to watch this stream on the old Sun workstation running Linux. The SATA drive and controller just died an hour ago. That's unfortunate. Oh. Let me guess, it doesn't take any kind of standard interface. You can't just plug a PCI card into that, huh? Carrie, hello. Welcome. Welcome back to the stream. Oh, wow. Dave says it's been 101 to 108 all week, 103 today. Yeah, I feel that. It's been basically those temperatures here too. It's real warm. Real warm. Oh, and Vidium says, I remember discarding those when mounting the Cooler Master Hyper 212. That's probably why all the ones on eBay don't have them anymore, because everyone bought the Hyper 212. Everybody bought the Hyper 212. It was such a popular cooler. The other thing is, like, I've noticed the same thing about, like, the AMD box cooler for AM4. If you use the box cooler that I think any of the box coolers, but at least the smaller ones, like the Wraith, the medium-sized Wraith and the smaller Wraith, the Wraith Stealth, they actually screw right into the backplate on the back of the motherboard. So you're taking off the plastic mounting clips, and I'm sure losing them to the sands of time in the process of it. It's probably why I don't see any AM4 motherboards on eBay. Like, not any, but most AM4 motherboards on eBay just don't have their cooler mounting brackets anymore. It's just weird. It's weird that AMD didn't use a clip for that. Just like use the cooling hardware, the mounting hardware that's already there. It's very strange to me. Neil Vania, hello. How are you doing? Neil says, I think I've got the hardware I need to continue with my system. What I don't have yet is enough continuous time, and until probably next weekend. Yeah, that's fair. My weeks have been ridiculous, and then once I get done with work, I'm totally drained for the evening. I have like no energy left. Certainly no brain power left to write and edit scripts. Oh no, Clarge on OnePlus is I also accidentally unlocked simultaneous output to multiple audio devices. And Vidium says, that's a nightmare. Yes, it is. Dave says, yes, that hard drive was a screamer. Yeah, the hard drive we had in my 7200, the Quantum, that was a screamer. It was a heck of a screamer. What else? Yes, Dave Starbuck says, hello, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Dave says, also shipped with the FX series. Yes, that stupid cooler mounting. I just don't understand it. After seeing, like, the simplicity of AM4's mounting, mounting brackets, where it's just the two discrete, connectors, and they just screw into the backplate. I don't know why AMD stuck with the stupid, like, octagonal outline thing with their cooler mounter for so long. Yeah, I bet. Well, yeah, it's not a terrible cooler. Dave says I use the same type of cooler that I'm using to cool Ryzen 5900X that was mining Raptorium 24/7. Worked well. Yeah, it's not a bad cooler. I do think it came with the 4 and 6 core Phenoms back in the day, and those were like 140 watt processors, so. Can't remember how loud it was. Haven't turned the system on in years. Well, we'll find out in a couple of minutes. Clarjon says a good power button is a good turn on. Yeah. Alright, well, let's plug this thing in and see what this is doing. Oh, hello, HC. Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you again. Okay. I'm caught up with chat. Let's get this thing fired up. So I just got to plug in power, and we should be good to go. That makes quite the pop when it turns on. Whew. Alright, I know it's plugged in and powered on because I can hear the hissing from the power supply already. So, let's switch over to the capture card view and we'll turn this thing on. Is this thing gonna work for me? It should be saying no video. Why is it not? Oh no. Oh, this capture card better not be giving me problems today. That's not a great sign. Well, let's see what it does. Whole lot of nothing from the capture card. I did not think this would be my problem today. I've gone through so many capture cards. Yeah, I know. I think this is going to be a quick stream today. If my capture card is broken, I'm going to need to reboot. It's the bad part about having a capture card that's plugged into your PCI Express bus. You can't just, you know, unplug a cable and plug it back in and reset it. You have to reboot the whole computer. Dislike. Hello, Eric. Welcome. I was about to do a triumphant power on of the Cheap PC Challenge PC, but my capture card is misbehaving as usual. Oh, come on. Alright, well, I guess we'll shelve that for now. That makes the power supply in this thing makes so many noises that a power supply should not make. I do have a backup thing to do today. Not really by design or anticipation, but just so happened, if you see behind me here, I got 2 packages here from a friend of the channel, Garth Beagle. Why don't we open them up on stream and see what they are? I'm pretty sure I know what they are, but let's see them. I guess I don't need to unplug that, do I? This is all just going to go one big piece. All right. Well, that's disappointing. Let me go grab a knife. Be right back. Yeah, I think for the actual video where I do the Cheap PC Challenge, I actually go through the PC and show you all the stuff. I'll make sure I do a recording of the power supply, because it's horrifying. It makes sounds that power supplies really shouldn't make. Oh, thank you. This is Eric says, I like that keyboard. It's a genuine cherry. I picked this up years and years ago. This is a Cherry G84. This one is special. You can probably tell by the connector. It does indeed have a DIN connector for AT computers. And I've got a nice little AT to PS2 adapter. I'm going to be keeping this keyboard around for a long, long time. It's very important. One of my earliest keyboards was just a nothing compact keyboard that had an AT connector. I'll never forget because I was playing around in Fast Tracker 2. I was quite young at the time, and playing around in Fast Tracker 2 in DOS, and the compact keyboard had the advantage of having basically N key rollover. Like I could hold down like 6 or 7 keys at a time on, doing the virtual keyboard thing, and I had no problem keeping up with it. Eventually the keyboard broke, and I upgraded to a keyboard that could only hold down like 3 keys at a time. And I was like, that was the first time I realized that newer things weren't always better. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick peek, make sure there's nothing in here that's gonna dox Garth. Looks good. We got a box with stuff in it. Look at this. eBay sellers, take note. This is how you ship retro tech gear. Lots of bubble wrap. Garth sent some stickers. Thank you. Excellent. That looks like the power supply. Boy, that looks familiar. That looks real familiar. That is basically a 7200's power supply. When he said it was going to be everything except the case, I really did not expect him to also send the speaker. But, at least this way, once I have it all put together, we can hear it chime. What this is will make more sense once we get to the motherboard, which I think is in the next box. Power button. And yeah, power LED look like they're the same connectors as the 7200. Oh, yeah. Anyone who knows vintage Mac hardware is probably looking at that and saying, oh, I know what this is. This is a personality card. This was a weird little concept that Apple had for like 2 years in the very late 90s. You could build one machine and then change its capabilities with the addition or removal of a personality card. Some of the personality cards were quite capable. Some of them were, like this one, basically just a sound card. Cables, always important. I think that's everything for this box. Oh, nope. One more. Very well packed. Very well packed. Is Garth here? Of course Garth isn't here. Oh, yep. I love that he also sent the instructions for it, as if I don't already have 12 of these things. But yeah, that is an SD to IDE. You can get these on Amazon or eBay for about $10, $15. They're fantastic. I swear by them. If you have a machine that boots IDE, this is the hands down the easiest way to run these things. In fact, I just picked up another 3-pack of SD cards for all of mine. I have SD cards for like my Cyrix Media GX. I have an SD card for my Slot 1 system. I have an SD card for my Socket 939, Athlon 64. I have an SD card for my Athlon XP that's up there, as you can't see, that has 4x universal AGP. I use it for testing AGP graphics cards. I love these things. These are great. These things make it dead simple to manage a retro PC in the modern day. So we have 2 clues at this point. We have personality card, and it boots IDE. So it's a late Power Mac. Same form factor as the 7200. So desktop, Quadra 650, whatever, that kind of form factor. Let's see, easiest way to get into this without doxing Garth, looks like it's going to be the sides. There we go. Any final guesses before I pull the motherboard? Have any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? None yet. never simple. It's never simple. You just cut the tape and then unwrap it. It'll be easy. There we go. And it's in an anti-static bag in the middle. Let's see if I can get it out of here. Clarjon guesses a potato. Here we go. Make sure there's nothing in here that's gonna dox Garth. Looks like no, just the motherboard. There we go. Significantly more petite than the PowerMax 7200 motherboard. Oh, that's the voltage regulator module. Goes right there. So who has any guesses? Should be pretty evident at this point. Only a couple of boards in Apple's repertoire that looks like this. Why don't we pop the heatsink off the CPU and we'll see if people have a guess. Oh, if I can. There we go. Look at that beauty. It's one of my favorite CPUs of all time. So this is basically all of the internal functional parts of a Power Macintosh G3 beige desktop. Personality card. We have the voltage regulator, goes in there. All the pieces. So the CPU is in this nice little zip socket. It's one of my all-time favorite CPUs. The PowerPC 750, aka G3. Look at that pin grid array on the back. So awesome, I love these. Yeah, these are awesome. I love these things. I never had a G3 beige back in the day. My family went from, I think we had a Centrus 610, and then I think we did the motherboard swap to make it a PowerMac 6100. And then, maybe we didn't. Maybe my dad just talked about doing the motherboard swap, but we eventually got a 6400 180. Like that's the big tower with like the giant forehead on it with the subwoofer inside. That was a ridiculous machine. It was also really slow because it had no level 2 cache. But then we went straight from that several years later to a G3 blue and white. So we skipped the beige G3 era completely. Completely. The most exposure I've ever had to a beige G3 type of machine is like in high school. senior year, I think senior year, junior year, senior year, we had a computer lab in our auxiliary building that was basically just full of Molar Macs, the Power Mac G3 all-in-one, which are divisive to say the least. Mostly based on their looks, but I thought they looked neat. I don't know. I thought they were kind of cute. But yeah, this is a Power Mac G3 beige desktop. The motherboard for the tower is basically the same thing. It's just in a tower case instead of a desktop case. And the desktop case that they used for it is basically the Power Mac 7100, 7200, 7300, 7500 case. Same case Apple had been using for years and years at that point, and these things suffer the same fate as the 7200. The case plastics just disintegrate. They just fall apart. If anybody had watched the stream from last week when I was decasing the Power Mac, I had the SCSI hard drive in my hand. I was just trying to remove the SCSI cable from the back of it. And it was still on its plastic sled that it goes into the front of the machine. And just squeezing the drive enough to like grip onto the SCSI cable was enough to like fold in the plastic on that sled. That's how brittle it had become. And the same thing happens to these beige desktops and beige towers, unfortunately. They just fall apart. And so the reason I have this is Garth has a bunch of them, and he would like a reusable case replacement that you can 3D print for these, along the lines of this Power Mac 7200 case thing I've been building. And this is designed to this one for the 7200 is actually designed to take the power supply, hold on to it like that, and then mount the motherboard in here like you would normally as it would exist in the case itself. I'm probably going to do something different for this G3, just to make it a little bit more useful. Also because the connectors for power and things on the bottom of the board aren't actually like angled off of the board the way they are on the 7200, so I should be able to mount this thing basically flush to the bottom of the case. So I should be able to just stand it upright, and then probably put the power supply on the back side, like I do with my other test benches. Make it take up less space, and then I can have a support structure on this side for like the personality card, and then the PCI cards and things like that. So it's going to be my new project. I'm looking forward to it. Also, it means I get to have a Power Mac G3, which I haven't had. I got the blue and white from my dad when I went to college, and that was my college PC, and I kept that thing for, years and years. I played World of Warcraft on that thing with friends on the Power Mac G3 blue and white. That's how long I was able to keep that thing going. But it's been, since, 2005, 2006 since I even had that machine. I haven't used a Power Mac G3 in years. The closest thing I've got is I've got a PowerBook G3 Pismo, which is similar, but it's a PowerBook. It's not a Power Mac. It doesn't have the fun opportunities for like expansion. Like you can see, this thing's got an absolutely glacial Rage 2C on it, but there's no saying you can't plug in anything else that works with the Mac of the era. Rage 128, Voodoo 4. There are drivers for the Voodoo cards on macOS, believe it or not. There were a couple of vendors who sold them, so they do exist. Could be fun. Could be a fun little Quake machine. Anyway, that is the next project. basically a recasing project for the PowerMac G3. Oh yeah, and if these are anything like, there's this little jumper bank here, little jumper block here. If that's anything like the jumper block on the blue and white, that's where you go to overclock it. You just set the multiplier and bus speed and stuff on there. You bet I took that off my blue and white. You bet I took that off my blue and white. I could only get it to, because you can't adjust the voltage on the blue and white, so I only got it from 350 up to 400 megahertz. But it was perfectly stable at 400 megahertz, and it was a very nice machine at that speed. 100 megahertz front side bus. 66 megahertz PCI graphics card slot. So it was nice. It's a quick little machine. It was before Apple licensed AGP from Intel. Fun fact, if you look at some of the early AGP G4 motherboards, you know, the graphite G4s that have AGP on them, if you take the motherboard out, because nobody takes the motherboard out, right? Like, there's no reason to take the motherboard out of the thing. The whole thing opens up, you get full access to the motherboard. But if you take it out, and you flip it over, you'll find that there's an Intel bridge chip there, and that's what runs the AGP. Right on the back of your Macintosh, you know, the one where Apple was lambasting Intel for being too slow, there's an Intel chip on there. Sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Let's see how chat is doing. How is chat doing? Put it together and boot it up. I'm sure. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, absolutely. David Starbucks says, put it together and boot it up. Yeah, there's no reason we can't. Garth said he tested it before he sent it over. It should work. So, this doesn't use, hang on. This thing that I've been quickly moving out of camera, this is basically the sizing plate I use for the 7200. And I'm looking at this here, and it's real close. So there's a notch in the motherboard right here. You can see it between the, maybe you can't, yeah, you can see it there, between these two. So that notch goes here on the plate. Does that actually line up? Do I actually have to do anything to make this fit in the test bench? I do. None of the screw holes line up. Okay. So yeah, that notch does align correctly, but none of the screw holes are in the right places. Who had mentioned it looks like an ATX board? It does. It really does, doesn't it? And actually, there is... Let's see if I can find it here. Unplug this sizing tool. That's awesome. I don't have to move that part of the test bench. But there is a jumper on here. Where is it? I'm not super familiar with beige G3. There it is. Right up in the corner. Way, 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 way far away from the power connector. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, that little black jumper there, if you set it to one pair, that is Mac power supply. The other side is PC power supply. Because this is indeed an ATX power connector. And this board can run off of ATX power if you switch that jumper. Which is pretty cool. It'd make this a heck of a board to put an ATX power supply on. Don't have to deal with this big old thing. Yeah, well, let's throw this on top of the sizing tool, honestly. Like, why not? keep from scraping it on all this stuff on the desk. Okay, so need the speaker, which goes there. There's a power button, which goes there. And the power LED. You notice there's a ton of pins for the power LED. I think that was because they were originally anticipating using a multicolor LED to indicate like sleep or stuff like that, other power states. I don't know why they didn't, but the Power Mac 7200 has it as well. It's got a full like 4 pins for the power LED, but it's just two wires to the LED. Okay. That is the voltage regulator. Okay. Personality card, or we'll get no audio. Or I don't think it'll boot, honestly. I don't think these things will boot without their personality cards. We've got onboard video, IDE. What did he say about booting it off IDE? I think the one that's... Forget if he said it was the one furthest from the power connector or closest to the power connector to use. Let's see. Looks like an IDE connector. Let's try furthest. Let's see if it's marked on the... See if it's still silk screened on here. No, of course not. Why would it be? We got bird connector for power. Come on. Get your butt in there. That's not quite a bird connector, is it? It's okay, we'll just use the Molex. Keyboard and mouse. Right. Alright. Sounds good, Clarjon. Have a good one. I will see you at that thing in about an hour. This keyboard cable is disgusting. I don't know what happened to it, if it's just like packing tape that's gone bad, but it is so sticky. Try and keep it away from things because it just sticks to them. I made the mistake of ugh, gross. I made the mistake of putting this keyboard, just resting it on the floor since last week, just for a week. And then when I went to pick it up today to clean it up, It's stuck to the carpet. So gross. So gross. So disgusting. But for the moment, it's my only Apple Desktop Bus keyboard, so I'll get a better one eventually, but just don't have it at the moment. Okay. Plug that in there. Alright. I think that's everything. Voltage regulator module, heatsink, RAM, ROM sim, or that's cache. That might be the cache. No, that's ROM sim. Cache is on the card. Personality card is in. Oh yeah. Well, the plug-in video, although it's not going to do much. A capture card acting up. My good old Sony Mac view. Let's see, control any number of displays. Oh, you're gonna be like that, huh? There we go. Okay, I think that is finally everything. Let's see if the capture card is behaving. It is not. I should be getting a gray screen off of the off of my VGA to HDMI, and I'm sure not. Okay, well, we'll at least see if it lets out the magic smoke or not. Nothing went pop so far. Hey, hey. I see activity on the SD to IDE. I think we're booting. We won't have video, of course, since the capture card is being a pain today, but that looks like a successfully booting PowerMac G3 Beige. Hey, hey. That's pretty cool. Look at that. Very cool. Very cool. I wish my capture card wasn't being a pain. Let me see if I can, like, wrangle it. I don't think I can, because even the built-in recording software is doing nothing. Doesn't see the card at all. It's just being one of those days. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to reboot it. It's so annoying. This is a fresh boot. I don't know why it's not working. And David Starbucks says, I hope Garth didn't put Furby's Revenge on that SD card. Oh, jeez. There we go. Can you tell I've used macOS for a while? If you're at the Finder at the desktop, just hit the power button. It'll ask you if you want to turn off the computer, and the default, if you hit enter, is shut down. There you go. The more you know. Let's hear that startup chime one more time before I end the stream. Quieter sounds like the it's set a non-default for the PRAM because it doesn't have its PRAM battery in it. So it's working though. It'll probably still give us the error about the date being wrong, which I think is that's the beep when it boots. There we go. Yeah, the date is set incorrectly, so if I hit enter, we should be at a blank Finder desktop. And I hit the power button. Enter to turn off. Ta-da! There we go. Okay, so yeah, sorry for kind of an anticlimactic stream. I will make sure I double check next time that my capture card wants to play ball before I start the stream. It's super annoying. I'm so sorry. I've had lots of runs of bad luck with capture cards. I had an Elgato. What was it? HD60S, I think. It was another PCI Express card, but it would do the same thing, where it just wouldn't work until you rebooted the machine. Sometimes, I was hoping. I went through like a slew of like USB capture cards that were, most of them were terrible. I had an EVGA XR1 that was pretty good for a while, but it refused to sync its output frame rate with OBS. So like you get smooth 60 frames per second capture for about 30 seconds, and then for the next 30 seconds you'd get 30 FPS capture because it would be off by a frame. And then it would resync and it'd be fine for 30 seconds and then it would be off by a frame. It's so annoying. And this is now an AverMedia Live Gamer 4K. It's a ridiculous capture card and it still has these problems where it'll just not work. I just have to reboot the whole machine in order for it to work. It's frustrating. I just want a capture card that works. So frustrating. Oh, anyway, I don't mean to gripe, so let's do our goodbyes. It's wonderful to see everybody here today. I hope you all had a wonderful time. I'm sorry it was so anticlimactic again, but we'll work on that later. That'll be the next stream, definitely. I'll double check that my capture card is playing ball. Anyway, I hope everybody had fun, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope maybe you learned something today. Maybe you want to go try some cool retro stuff. I highly recommend, if you want to try retro Mac stuff, Infinite Mac. It is a website that runs emulators of Mac OSs from System 1, I think, all the way up through Mac OS 9.22. It's a wonderful website for exploring Mac OS. Alright, so have a wonderful night, and be good to each other. And as usual, if Garth watches this on the restream, he'll be mad if I don't drink from the green drink. As always, bottoms up. Whew. Never gets less nuclear. And may the PC parts be ever in your favor. Have a great night, everybody.